Hello, I am Gregory the Poor Typist, and welcome to another Typewriter Club Live. And today we are going to be talking about the traveling typewriter or traveling with a typewriter. So, yeah, so let's get started. I do have Mr. Theodore Monk in the back room. He's currently showing a there we go. A little screen slideshow there. I've been watching that in the little preview on my screen. So, and we also have Mr. David Pedersen. Oops. There we go.
Well, you got me anyway.
Oh. Uh-oh. There we go.
Hey, what's going on, Greg?
Hey, welcome. Sorry, I have the coffee jitters. So
Yeah,
I kept tapping the button.
Yeah, that's all right. Nice
Yes.
to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the traveling typewriter or traveling with a typewriter. I do have my, I'll zoom in real quick. Let's see here. Okay. So I do have my behemoth Smith Corona ultrasonic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
like
the noisemaker.
Pounds. Yeah. And the interesting thing about these is the case always comes missing the handle.
Okay.
Because that's how heavy they are. I mean, this really has no right to be in a case, but
I have some wrestling dogs in the back that I need to go put outside.
okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so I do like it. I kind of like the look of it.
It's a very futuristic looking machine.
Yeah.
And the way it operates is very, very interesting. Also, I did tell you in your comments of your blog about how that thing operates with the keys actually making striking bars, and the machine senses the tone that it's generating, and so it's actually a musical typewriter in a sort of in a way. The way it operates, it's very, very, very interesting mechanism.
Yes, I appreciated you telling me that, and I must admit I have an ultrasonic 3 on the way. So,
So are you having any problems finding ribbons for those?
Not yet.
Okay, because I understand that the ribbons are extremely rare.
Yeah, I have 3 that are practically brand new.
Okay.
So I've gone through like 3 of these already, trying to find one that works. So
you've been determined to find one that works, is what I'm hearing.
It's kind of silly, but the whole reason it started is because I accidentally bought a Type A daisy wheel.
Okay.
Of Micro 15. I was determined to use this Micro 15 daisy wheel. And the ultrasonic 3 that I had was not functioning. So I did get a refund from the seller. I actually felt bad for them because they did not realize how much it was going to cost to ship it at 40 pounds.
Oh boy. Yeah, they're heavy machines.
Yeah. So I had this Type A daisy wheel that I bought by mistake, thinking I could use it in my Type H Smith Corona.
Nope.
And so then I had this. I wanted to use it so badly. I'm like, well, I'll just try to get another one. So I got one, and that one was completely dead on arrival. So this would be the third one, and this one works beautifully, but it's a Type 1, so it's I'm sorry, it's ultrasonic 1.
Okay.
So it does not support 15 characters per inch. So I was like, no.
So now you're on number 4.
Yes. So the ultrasonic 3 is on the way.
Okay.
In the listing, they say it works, but I'm
gonna embarrass myself and say I don't even know what that typewriter you have there looks like.
All right, I'm gonna have to bust out.
Show it off. It's a very attractive typewriter.
It is actually.
Okay. I don't know much about electric typewriters.
Yeah.
Very sci-fi.
All right, let's. How can I do? Well, I guess I'll just hold it up here.
What's in the box? Oh, okay, yeah.
One of my
very
favorite...
cool looking machine.
Yeah. In fact, let me make this big.
Kind of looks like a Daft Punk helmet.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So the color scheme to me is not the best. I do kind of like the shape, actually. It's a little bit boxy, but I do like the shape. But the feature I love the best is this cover/paper tray, which, as you can see, it's like this smoky brownish gray color.
See, I don't know why you wouldn't like brown and smoked glass. I mean, that's very 70s.
Yeah. So was it a different color, or is that is it aged, the plastic, over the years?
No, I think this is pretty close to the color.
It's the original color, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the old Super Nintendos or whatever plastic they
used.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would kind of yellow. Yeah. Yeah, but ooh, that's heavy.
So that's your traveling typewriter?
No. I have a few examples here. So
okay.
So I was excuse me. I was using this as the extreme because in pretty much every listing I've seen for this typewriter, they describe it as portable. And I think at best you could describe it as luggable.
Oh, yeah.
That's
portable like my Osborne 1 is portable.
Oh, okay.
So Ted, what year was that manufactured, do you think?
That would have been early 80s.
Really? So around the time of bag phone, I mean, that was considered portable, you know?
Here comes Joe.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
Hey,
Joe.
guys. Mine a little overexposed. Darn it. How is everybody?
Fantastic.
Fine.
Good. Are we talking about travel typing yet?
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Now, am I going to have to lift this typewriter up again?
Yes, you're going to have to lift the typewriter up again.
Okay.
We'll make you stronger, sir. Yes.
This is his portable typewriter.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's described as portable.
It's like ColecoVision.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? What brand is it? Coleco?
It's a Smith Corona ultrasonic.
Oh, yes. I might have seen that. Did you post that this week on your blog?
I think it's been a little while, actually.
It's been a while.
Someone posted an ultrasonic on their blog this week, on one of the typewriter blogs. It's the blog that does the posts about through Pinterest, or not Pinterest, but one of those things. Anyways, yeah. That's pretty cool. So is it battery powered?
No.
No.
You know, some of the Smith Corona Daisy wheels were battery powered, a couple of them. And I think my friend Kevin might actually have one. But anyways, I was going to, I don't know if I'm interrupting a conversation you guys were having, but I wanted to briefly mention that back in 2015, I think it was, my wife and I took a long trip around the Western U.S. We started from, we basically did Highway 89, and it actually starts down near the Mexican border in Arizona, but we picked it up at basically Flagstaff, area, I-40, and went north all the way through Utah to Montana. But anyways, during that time, I took my Hermes Rocket typewriter with the idea that the ideal travel typewriter was going to be a small typewriter. And the way we had the car loaded is I kept the typewriter on the passenger seat behind the driver. So I could just open up the door when we got to a destination, grab the typewriter and go. And I figured a really small typewriter obviously would be the best solution for travel. But as it turned out, I was generally lugging the typewriter from the car to a hotel room usually, right? And so it turned out that the limitations of an ultra portable were such that I really should have taken my Smith Corona Silent Super instead, because it's a little heavier to carry, but it's not like you're hiking with it for 5 miles on a mountain trail or something, right? It's just lugging it from the car to a hotel. I would have been better served by a little bit more of a full-featured typewriter. So that was kind of one of the lessons I learned, is you don't necessarily need the smallest typewriter, you know. And another thing is I like the smaller typefaces, especially for doing postcards, because postcards
Yes.
are one of those things, right, that you might want to do. And so that brings to mind, one of the things I do bring is these. Go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I
I
was
just got a cat in my lap.
Yeah.
Just a cat. Yeah.
So I use these Avery 6874 labels, and these are 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And if you cut one of these sheets in half like that, you'll have the label crosswise. You can load in your typewriter, you can type on it, and it's especially helpful with a 12 character per inch, a small typeface. And then that label, which you probably can't tell where it starts, but it's basically like this wide, that goes on the left-hand side of your postcard. And then if you take a half a sheet of the little tiny address labels, you can type on them. If you could handwrite your addresses, but sometimes it's fun to do, you know, labeled, typewritten labels. And so you can basically go and, you know, have a typewriter or a postcard kit, right? Because obviously a small typewriter, even a medium-sized typewriter, are not really conducive to rolling a postcard through a platen. You know, not very many typewriters do well with that, especially with really thick cardstock, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my little solution, is a little label, stick-on labels for postcards. And then, of course, don't forget the forever stamps for postcards, right? Postcard forever stamps, prepaid, and they're cheaper than first-class mail and all that. But the last time we went on a little car trip, though, I noticed it was a little difficult to find postcards, because it used to be you could find postcards at any, you know, curio shop or gift shop, and you have to really go to the kind of touristy, you know, trinket shops to find postcards anymore.
Yeah.
So you might want to think about bringing your own postcards also, right? Collecting them and bringing them, right? So that's my little tip for traveling. Now, I set out the Groma Calibri also as another example of an ultra portable, but actually the Groma Calibri is so heavy that it's really getting upwards of being like the Smith Corona Silent Super. If you're going to bring that, you might as well bring the Silent Super, right? Anyways, that's my little
mine's in a
contribution.
briefcase, so
Oh yeah,
it's just as big as the Smith Corona.
yeah. So
Now,
Joe, when you go on vacation,
Yeah.
and with your wife, and you're like, I'm going to do some typing, how does she a fan of that?
Yeah, actually, because she likes to, like, she'll bring a book to read or something like that, right? So she likes to read. So she gets a little bit of solitude that way. While she's reading, I'm typing, and I'm usually doing something like I bring a cigar, so I have to look for someplace outside that I can smoke and type. You know, that's kind of one of my little things I like to do. So yeah, smoke a cigar, type outside somewhere on a patio or a porch or away from a building, you know. Unless you're in California, then you have to be 25 feet away from the building, you know.
yeah.
Even though all the smokers in California don't really stay 25 feet away from the building. We know this.
No.
I think they have enough smoke now without being 25 feet away from a building.
I know. We just go outside and
terrible.
breathe.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
That's right.
The ironic thing, it was such a nice night last night that I decided to go outside and look at the moon, and you can actually see Mars right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like stargazing, and I have this nice little cushion to sit on the ground, and I was burning incense.
Oh, nice.
Adding more smoke.
So has your area, Gregory, been really smoky?
It's a lot better now, actually. A lot better.
Are you kind of like in Central California?
Southern.
Southern, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're in the Inland Empire.
Oh yes, I've been there.
Okay.
Which in the summertime can be very hot and dry, right? Kind of very.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I forget, last week we were talking about what do you call it? The wax seals and.
Oh yeah.
So let me make this big. So this is the stamp I created.
Awesome.
And here's an example. I love using
Brother,
airmail.
I got the same. Yes, I got the same one.
I love these. You know, even if I'm sending it in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
and this is the stamp. I used a bronze ink.
Super cool. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Riverside Rain Cross. So the bell signifies the missions, and then the double cross is a Native American symbol. So, and unfortunately, I forget what it means right now, but I just love our city's symbol, and so I decided to do that.
Yeah, I love those Mead airmail, and they make them in full size too, which is.
Oh, okay.
I think
yeah.
I sent Joe last time. I'm working on your letter, Greg, about music and stuff.
Excellent, very good.
I got a new letterhead from Joe Talman. Finally sent it to me, and I'm so pumped. Like, I can't wait to send it to you guys because you did such a good job.
Excellent.
I think last time when you were talking about your stamps, I brought up Flex Cut V tools, and I think I have one right here. I can show you.
I think Joe went mobile there.
Yeah, he did. He took us on a little
Well,
tour.
I did, but I got
So
out.
this is what they look like.
I got out to my backyard and I lost my router signal.
So you can kind of dig in a little bit easier.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a little V-shaped.
Yes.
And then you can dig into that.
Yeah.
A little bit easier because that's the hardest part. Is really if you got a flat edge to get that V shape cut out.
Yeah. Excellent.
So they come in sets. Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was using this behemoth typewriter.
Yeah, so I had gone out to the backyard and then I lost.
Oh, I think we lost him again.
Yeah, I think he's lagging pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Frozen Joe.
Well, I'll go ahead and remove him for now, and then we'll see. I don't like that. There we go.
That's a weird.
Yeah, it's acting a little funky right now.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have.
Oh, there he goes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, Joe Van Cleave.
I'm trying to be mobile.
Yeah.
Trying to
So
open
I was using this big typewriter as the extreme of what we can travel with, and then of course you have this little brother Charger 11.
There you go. Yeah.
Which is just the the plastic top.
Yep.
And I love this one. This is the Royal Companion.
Mm-hmm.
I love the color on that one. That's very nice. But an interesting one is actually the Olivetti Lettera 25. It comes in this sporty, I don't know if it's leather or leatherette.
Leather.
Leather, okay.
Pleather.
Oh, pleather.
Pleather. Hide.
Yeah, so I love the racing stripe on it. It's very European, I think.
Very Olivetti.
So those are just a few examples of the traveling typewriters. Of course, I also travel with, in the little bit of traveling I do, I travel with a thermal typewriter, and for that I use a tote bag. So,
right.
Hey, can I see that Olivetti? I don't know if I know. I know the 22.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you asked because it's actually a very interesting typewriter. It's not well loved in the typewriter community, but
a fickle bunch. So
yeah,
Yes.
it's not. it's not the most attractive. Let me make this big again. It's not the most attractive typewriter by any means, but a very interesting thing about it is how compact those keys are.
Mm-hmm.
They're very short this way, so they're really tight together. I don't know if you can really pick that up, but
Yeah.
it's
Is
kind
it
of
hard to type?
it takes an
Type
adjustment. It takes an adjustment, yeah. But once you get used to it, it's fine. It is a little rattly. But this is one I would probably. I'm thinking about painting this, the ribbon cover, maybe black or very dark brown or something like an espresso color.
The case if you paint it black, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Usually, I don't like the idea of painting typewriters, but
Right.
you know. Yeah. So. David, do you have any cases near you or typewriter? Yeah.
All of my cases are downstairs, but I do have a case I think upstairs for the my 22.
Oh, okay.
Which is very similar. It's got the little briefcase and everything.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a Roadrunner up on top of my roof.
Real? I've never seen one in my life. Are they small?
Now they're medium size. I don't know if I can switch my camera around here. Let's see.
Get him, Joe.
I don't know. I'll have to switch the camera around.
You will have completed what the kite.
He's up on the roof now. But anyway, he was up on the roof earlier. We have family of Roadrunners that live in the neighborhood.
Wow, that's awesome.
Sorry, I interrupted you, David.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so my cases I all have down in the basement just because there's so much size. But I think I do have something I think is pretty portable. It's a Hermes Featherweight.
Oh.
So let's take a look. I'm sorry.
Now we know where he keeps his key.
Yes.
In a
wants to steal these. Nobody's gonna. Maybe. Here we go.
By the way, I put on my travel Hawaiian shirt here just for the travel theme.
Very nice. I appreciate it.
So here.
Oh, let me zoom in. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's going a little slow.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about
there we go.
It's extremely. I'll try to move back for focus. But I love the decals. You know, those art.
Yeah.
Decals on it.
Very nice.
Just this little simple paper guide here.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It writes. It's nice and snappy. I even like the touch of the keys, and that some of the keys are it's so old that they're kind of worn down.
Yeah.
It's an American keyboard anyway. It's kind of rare on those.
So when I got it, it did not have a drawband, and I was just getting into typewriters. And I took it over to Typewriter repairman and hooked it up for me. But I don't have the top with it. That's the only thing. So, but this is a pretty. I mean, it's nice. I think this and the Olympia SF is a great portable option.
Yep.
Now, if you were to travel with that, how would you do you have a plan in place for how you would pack that up?
Yeah, I have like a little briefcase I'd probably put it in or something.
Okay.
I'm going on vacation next weekend, so I will be bringing a typewriter.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think function over form. You know, I don't mind if it's a little bit heavier. I'll take it. You know, I'll probably take a Hermes.
Yeah.
Very good. And what about you, Ted?
Well, I brought out 5 of my favorite traveling typewriters.
Excellent.
Slideshows, and so they're all back here.
Okay.
What do you want to see? Let's see. Should I show them all off?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I guess we'll start with the Tower Chieftain 3 from 1959. It's just a Skywriter, but it's a smooth paint Skywriter with a neat badge on it, which, oh, wow, that's really laggy. I've got these IP cams for my cameras 2 and 3, and they're a little bit laggy.
Oh.
But anyway, so yeah, that's one of my oldest traveling typewriters. That was one of the first ones I picked up when I started my typing. What do you call it?
Addiction.
Addiction. That's it.
I was going to say journey.
And I've been typing with this one for quite a while, and it's just one that I normally go to and gravitate to when I want to do some typing outside or typing somewhere else. Just put it in its bag and throw it in the car. And,
I really love that Tower logo.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's. I love Skywriters, but I wanted one of these because of the way it looked.
Yeah.
And even though this one's a little beat up, it still makes me happy.
I think it's funny that the Sears Tower typewriter is one of the smallest typewriters in their lineup. That just seems sort of ironic. Considering how tall the Sears Tower is, right?
Well,
it will always be the Sears Tower. Anyone who calls it the Willis Tower should be shot on sight.
What you talking about, Willis?
The Willis Tower.
And it's Comiskey, okay? I don't care
Comiskey
what anybody
part.
says. I don't care. Who buys it?
Anyways, sorry, Ted, I interrupted you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. The next one, let's see. What am I going to pull out next? I think I will pull out this Silver Seiko, which I know Joe is going to love.
Yes.
Because he likes these machines too.
Yep.
Basically, this one comes with its own little traveling pack, which has a shoulder strap and a handle. And then inside, the thing I love about this pack is that it unzips like this, so that you can just pull it straight out.
Whoa.
Yep.
And it's large enough to hold the machine and a typing pad.
Yep.
And
a small bottle of scotch.
Small bottle of scotch.
A few cigars.
My correction stuff. Spare set of glasses. Tripod.
Wow.
All the necessary.
I feel really dumb right now because I had no idea that Seiko made typewriters.
They came out with two different designs that I know of for manuals. The 700 series, which is this one. Let me pull that up on the desk cam. Normally, you see these as Royal Mercuries or Mustangs. They're also known as Royal Sprites and Swingers with the radio. Eldorados. And that is in the plastic, red, white, and blue, or the brown and black with the wood grain sometimes. But they're all the same machine. They're all Silver Seiko 700s, which are very much like the Brother JP1, just slightly different. And mechanically, they are pretty different, but they look very much very similar.
Yeah.
This is like the Seiko watch company.
Yes.
Okay.
And they made many different electric typewriters, but I like the manual ones.
That's awesome.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
Is that a Seiko, Joe?
Yeah, that's the 5 series, the inexpensive one. That's about $80 on Amazon now.
They just came out with the Captain Willard, the one that Sean, what's his name, Martin Sheen wore in Apocalypse Now.
Oh.
And I was like, no, I'm not gonna. No. It looks awesome. I love Seikos. I got just the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this thing's awesome. It's a great.
I like the NATO strap, so you can change out real easy. That's what's cool. In fact, I just changed it this morning for my shirt.
I'm sorry, Ted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Well, Joe, of course, knows about the Silver Seikos. He has
Yep.
had a couple
Yep.
that he likes quite a lot. You talked about the thermal typewriters, and I also have this one, which Joe will also recognize
Yes.
as
Yes.
the tiniest
like a
typewriter you could probably get. Oops, sorry, that's a different thing. As it slowly comes up on my screen.
Yes.
Looks like a calculator. Yeah.
It's calculator-like.
Yeah. The keys are
But,
calculator like.
It's a delightful little electronic thermal typewriter that actually prints in a 9-pin dot matrix type or font, and is surprisingly fun to play with. It's I didn't have high hopes for it when I first got it, but I fell in love with it mainly because of its size and its interesting brown color scheme. There we go.
Oh, cool.
I don't know.
Yes.
I can't really see colors on my. It's
So
got
that's like
the
a
same
dark
sort
brown.
of. Yeah, it's the same sort of brown as your Smith Corona there,
Okay.
and built around the same time, about 83, I think, or 81.
Yeah. Yeah.
81 or 82. Let's see. I could find out. I can just look at the. It was 83. I can just look at the serial number.
Yeah. There's a database for that.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And love typing on these little cash register rolls.
Oh yeah.
Keep in a box that just sort of unrolls
That's
when I
right.
need it.
It's thermal poetry.
Thermal poetry. Just type and type and type.
Yep.
All right, who wants to go next?
Well, I happen to have the Rocket out here, and I know Ted has seen this machine because
Yep.
this is the one that I brought over to Bill Walls in Mesa, Arizona to get fixed. But this machine was given to me by a friend, and it belonged to his father-in-law, who was an Air Force officer and who was one of the principal engineers that worked on the engines for the SR-71 spy plane. So when I got this typewriter, there was a piece of paper in it that was a backing sheet of paper. I could tell it had been typed on top of. And I was thinking, if I could figure out what was typed on here, it would tell me where the aliens are, where the bodies are buried, all the secret stuff. So I spent about 2 hours with a flashlight, shining edgewise to the paper. And it was just a memorandum about personnel is all it was. He was an officer and he had to deal with personnel issues. That's all it was. So it was nothing secret. But anyway, the typewriter is a really cool machine. This is a 1953 Rocket. So
The paychecks for the aliens were late.
that's right. Exactly. And I was going to say, Ted, my Royal Mercury was I've traveled with that probably more than any other the California coast, probably at least 3, maybe 4 times, sitting on the beach, typing. In fact, my wife reminded me of a story last night that on one of those beach excursions out to Oceanside, California, we were staying at these condos where you could just walk right outside the condo and be on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And she had brought some sunscreen. It was like SPF 80 or something, supposedly pretty good. Well, I got the crap burnt out of me, because of my light skin. But it turned out that the sunscreen has an expiration date.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, I was typing with the Royal Mercury on the beach, and I got my legs, my feet really badly burnt. But the one thing I also noticed is when you're sitting there on the beach and you want to face the ocean, right? And you have the paper threaded in your typewriter, where there's usually an onshore breeze, and it wants to blow the paper forward and obscure. Yeah. So that's where I get those metal bulldog clips, and I clip it to the top of the paper and it weights it down. So that's another essential ingredient to your travel kit, is a bulldog clip for your paper. Anyways,
If we don't hear back from Joe next week,
yeah,
we'll know why.
that's yeah. I would love to go on a trip right now, but I don't think we're going to be doing
the
that.
SR-71.
Oh, the SR-71, yeah. The men in black will have me.
They will
take me away.
You are in New Mexico too, so have you been out to Roswell?
Yes, I have. I've been to the little touristy alien museum and all that stuff. It's pretty hilarious, actually. Yeah. Well, in 1947, a lot of stuff happened in 1947, right? The Air Corps became the Air Force, became its own branch of the military. The CIA and the NSA were formed, and the 509th Composite Bombing Group was the only nuclear certified bomber wing in the whole world. They're the group that dropped the atom bombs on Japan, and they were headquartered in Roswell.
Wow.
And at the same time, the German V-2 rockets that the Allies captured from Germany were being tested nearby at White Sands, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of kind of secret stuff going on at the time that probably wasn't related to flying saucers. So
also Dulce, you got Dulce, the underground.
Dulce, I've been up there. I've been up there. Up north.
Bait. I love
it. There's a lot of UFO subculture centered here in New Mexico.
Yes.
So
there's a great there's a great documentary called Mirage Men, if you haven't seen it.
Oh no, I haven't.
About the inventor of all of these myths that you hear, especially with Dulce, named Richard Doty, and he worked for the Air Force, and he was with a guy, I can't remember, Paul Blakowitz or something like that, who stumbled upon military secrets, and thus came many of the myths.
Well,
and stuff.
See, the thing was, Richard Doty worked in counterintelligence,
right?
Out on the Air Force Base here in Albuquerque, on Kirtland Air Force Base, and I still think the whole UFO myth was a counterintelligence program.
That's what he said.
That was designed. Yeah, it was designed to obscure the secret stuff that was happening out here.
Yeah, so watch that documentary because he's like the star.
I will.
He's very.
There's another documentary that strange New Mexico here. People that live.
Yeah, see, the NSA is getting involved now, so cutting Joe off.
Yeah, I know. Huh?
Yes, we're getting off.
I'm sorry. I think Ted was talking about typewriters or something. I bet.
I briefly lost control of the moderation software, but because I'm filming with my cell phone, and I use the cell phone network specifically because I know I have a spotty internet connection. So yeah, but we're back in there. So I have control of the screen again.
Sorry, we can hear you again, Joe. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I was just.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh.
My dad actually worked at. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go back inside.
And we're back.
To the route.
It was getting warm out there.
So
anyway.
I was just going to tell you guys. Yeah, I was going to tell. Actually, it's really nice, but just to finish up the story, so we can move on to something else. My dad worked at the underground nuclear weapons base in Kirtland Air Force Base, Monsanto base.
Awesome.
And anyways, yeah. So he worked in that nuclear weapons business for his career. So he had some interesting stories to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know so bad. You know, I was in the Army myself, and I did a brief stint with the Criminal Investigation Division, and I had a warrant officer who was at White Sands, and
Oh.
he was getting transferred out. And I said, "Hey, man, I got to know. You know, what
Yeah.
what do you know? Are UFOs? Is this real?" And he said, "It is, but it is not what you think it is." And that's the best answer. And this was before drones. This would have been about 2003. So
Right.
that's as much as I got.
Yeah.
So when David vanishes, we know why.
Yes. 2 of the 4 of us will vanish.
Now, so we have 2 people from the military here. Are you a veteran, Ted?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we have 2 veterans.
I avoided military service.
Nothing wrong with that. It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So I have a question you may or may not know, but how recently did the military use typewriters?
We actually have one. I mean, they always use typewriters. I think.
Oh, okay. They never stopped, huh?
Yeah, I think there's certain things
Okay.
like the police still use.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Are they using daisy wheel typewriters, David?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, even where I work, which is for the government, we still have a typewriter there that they still use.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. I've always wanted to pick up a military one of the old school typers, like 50s era, probably.
the Navy typewriter. That's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
What was I watching the other day? Some old Navy film, submarine movie. Oh man.
Run silent,
Ice
run
Station
deep.
Zebra. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
All right.
Ice Station Zebra. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rock Hudson, and they got the guys got the typewriter right there.
Right.
Yeah. I actually checked a couple Army surplus to see if they had typewriters, but no luck.
I don't know.
No.
What did the Army use, Ted, back in the day? Do you know?
They bought from Underwood, Royal, Smith Corona. They bought from everybody, I think. Remington, a lot of Remingtons. I think the contracts will probably work the way they do now, where the Army will buy from whatever vendor has the best deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Robert Messinger just has a post this morning on his blog about some American journalist in World War II who used a Hermes baby. And he was saying that the American military actually used Hermes babies up until the Smith Corona Zephyr came online. So in the early part of the war, they were using Hermes, which is cool.
Yeah.
well, that would have been one of the few ultra portables that were available at the time
Yeah.
before
right.
the Zephyr came around.
Hemingway was a war correspondent, right? And,
Yeah, I think so.
I know that. See, my grandfather's with the 12th Infantry Regiment, which was the same that J.D. Salinger was with, and they were the first troops into Paris, and Salinger actually met Ernest Hemingway in Paris.
Wow.
Which is really insane to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's insane that Salinger made it all the way through, because that particular regiment turned over 2.5 times, and my grandfather made it all the way through too. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So Catcher in the Rye and the Glass family and Raise the Roof High Carpenters that all makes complete sense when you think about what those guys went through. The Battle of Hurtgen Force was just horrific, and why he was so secluded, and why he did write, kind of his filter of humanity, that it's not, as pleasant, and then we get June and Ward Cleaver, in the 50s, and he's like, no, it's not like that. It's,
That was all propaganda.
Oh yeah.
Happy days, 1950s. We had the most amount of megatonnage of nuclear weapons aimed at us ever, and that was the happy days of the 1950s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny when people are like, I've never seen anything like what we're seeing now. It's like, America is what we've been seeing now. It's always been like this.
Yeah.
The 1968 Democratic National Convention,
gosh, yeah.
just go through we had a civil war. This is America. This is how it's always been.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So speaking of war correspondence, that one of the, I think the first or second public library here in Albuquerque was Ernie Pyle's house. You know, Ernie Pyle, the war correspondent, he was from Albuquerque, and his house is a little cottage in the southeast part of Albuquerque, and it's a public library. You go through all the rooms and it's all books now, but there's a little display of supposedly one of his typewriters. He used several, but of course you may know that he was killed in World War II.
No.
But he was pretty famous.
Wow. Huh. Does anyone have typewriters that they have inherited from family?
I have one. It's going to be kind of surprising to look at. If you want to see it.
Sure.
Let me go turn on the 3 camera thing and grab it off the shelf.
I get a lot of typewriters, but not from family members. You know.
Okay.
Like, oh, you like typewriters? Here's this, and it's one that I don't want.
Yeah.
Usually.
See,
But that's
too many things to hold on to.
Yeah.
This is my grandmother's aunt. Her typewriter. I was told that it went through a tornado and was found in a field in Indiana.
Wow.
But I don't believe it
Toto's
because
typewriter.
it looks brand new.
Wow.
It's one of those
wow.
Royal Silver Seikos from 1971.
I love the colors.
This looks like the one
But,
with the radio built in.
It's exactly the same, except it doesn't have the radio built in.
Yeah, the same color as Kevin's. It has the radio. Yeah, that's cool.
And she got this one for her birthday in 1971 and apparently never used it.
Wow.
But so then it got passed down to me because I was the only one who cared.
Well, my Silver Seiko that I have right now is 1971 also. My Royal Mercury. That's cool.
So that's another traveling typewriter, but it's a family affair.
Yeah.
So I have a recollection as I was a little kid, sitting on my mother's lap in the kitchen at the kitchen table, and she was typing a letter or something. And I watched her type, and then I couldn't read at the time, but I somehow was able to reproduce the same sentence just by watching her fingers. And I remember she praised me for doing that. But the thing is, she died when I was 5, and none of my brothers or anybody remembers there being a typewriter in the house. So maybe we don't know what typewriter it was, or it was a ghost typewriter, a ghost writer. Yeah.
There you go.
Certainly, all her stuff was gotten rid of after she died. So certainly they got rid of the typewriter, but I don't know what kind it was. But I think it was a round key pre-World War II typewriter, but I don't know what kind.
So I took typing class. I don't know if you guys did. Did you guys take typing class in school?
Yeah.
When I was in school, the first year I was in school, they had just put in a room full of Commodore PETs.
Okay.
And of course, that was the new exciting thing. And so that's what I went for. Instead of typing class, I did computer class.
Okay.
Yeah. I took typing class in the early 70s, and it was a giant room. It was like half IBM Selectrics and half some kind of electric, maybe Underwood typewriter or something, some full-size typewriter. I think I had the non-IBM, whatever model it was. But the thing I remember most about it was, first of all, I probably got up to about 35 words per minute at the time. I can type probably quite a bit faster now on a computer than I could then on a typewriter. But the other thing that I most remember was it was mostly girls in the class. So, another good reason to take typing.
That's why I took home economics. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Ceramics and
yeah. There you go.
I think I mentioned last week that I wanted to take a typing class, but all the classes were full. So I ended up in a business skills class where I learned how to properly fill out a check. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to have that kind of a class in math, in the math department, and they taught the adding machines, the whatever call it, the cash
10 key.
register thing, 10 key, right? And it was the touch thing. And I remember the grocery stores where where they just had the paper labels of prices on cans of food, and he would grab it out of your cart and then 10 key it in without looking, right? And it seems like it was faster than the barcode system now. I mean, those guys were really fast in the grocery stores back then.
Yeah. So we have a couple of people in the comments here. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
He's joining us from rainy and cold Sweden.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's working on his trusty Rheinmetall.
Rheinmetall.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have Sarah Van Allen.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello. She's going to be joining us after 9.
Ah, wheel writers. That's a good choice for a modern typewriter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did take typing in 8th grade because our school district was completely underfunded, and my graduation date was 2000. So I took regular typing in 8th, and then when I got to high school, it was computers.
Okay.
And, but man, I will never forget my typing instructor, who was this very quiet woman who I don't think her feet ever touched the ground. And you would I swear, you would be typing and you would just hear this noise behind you, and she'd say, "Good," and then float away. That's my memory of typing. Whether it, like Joe said, whether it's real or not, I don't know. But I remember her being very floating around behind everyone and kind of.
Wow.
And we have to do the patterns, like the pyramids and that stuff. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you had to do that. So.
Sounds like a ghost to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another ghost.
Yeah, I had a similar teacher in high school, but it was actually my driver's ed teacher. But he was doing it for nefarious reasons, I guess. So he'd be floating around in the back of the classroom, and meanwhile we had a video on the screen and these fake steering wheels we were supposed to be driving, and he knew this spot in the film where everybody would make a mistake. So he was floating in the back of the room, and right when we got to that point, he took 2 trash can lids and crashed them together.
Like Arlie Omi.
Man.
Yeah.
And sprayed pig's blood from the ceiling.
Yes. And then the Nebraska State Trooper films. Remember those from Driver's Ed? Did you see those? Remember? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the gory car wreck video films.
Yeah. Yeah.
Designed to scare you into sobriety.
You should be scared. It's the most dangerous thing anybody does usually every day. And they act like it's nothing. And I sound like an old man shaking my fist at the world. But you know what? Pay attention, for the love of God. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
Just want to go somewhere and come home. And if you're ever at a stoplight and you just count the number of people who are just not looking up, eating. When I was in Germany, it was illegal to eat and drive at the same time. And in America, for some reason, that sounds strange, but it's a good rule. They're driving, and you're not allowed to idle your car. You would get a ticket, and driving is a privilege, But a lot of people, freak me out totally when I'm driving.
I was actually watching one of Joe's old videos. I don't know how old it was. He had a big beard.
A few years ago.
It's one where you had gone to a coffee shop.
Yep.
I don't remember which coffee shop, but apparently on the way there you were being tailgated maybe, and
Oh, yeah.
you mentioned flipping the rear view mirror so you didn't have to worry about anyone behind
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah. I still do that
yeah,
because I noticed it on my motorcycle. I never had the consciousnness of being tailgated. It didn't bother me because there's no rear view mirror in the
exactly.
main part of your vision to look at. You have the side mirrors, and that's why I said, okay, I'll just do that, and it's no problem. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Greg, I think you got a couple more comments.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
From Brian Good.
Thank you for watching there.
Hello.
Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Brian.
Hello.
Ah,
Honda's
TRS-80 Model
Electric 2.
3s.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll be right back. Apologize.
A TRS-80.
The trash
Wow.
80. They weren't really trash, but that people called
No,
them
that was-
sometimes.
Those were the machines that I started with, so.
Yeah.
Now, it was the TRS-80. Is that one? I may be thinking of the pet computer. Where
Radio Shack made the TRS-80.
okay. Now, is it where you strictly have to do basic? Or did it
You
have
had
options?
ROM Basic, yeah. You had Disk Basic and ROM Basic.
Okay.
Was it a CPM machine, Ted? These
You could
TRS-80
run
was-
CPM because they were all
Yeah.
Z80 based machines.
Yep.
So, like I have a Model 4P up on the shelf there that's,
Of course you do.
of course I do. But that was actually the first machine I actually bought for myself. My first
Oh.
computer that I bought for myself was that 4P.
Cool.
And it has lasted a long time.
Yeah.
But it does run CPM
Mhm.
and LS-DOS and LDOS and about 40 different DOSes that run on Z80 platforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you for the comment, Brian. Yeah. I was actually looking at some of the old boxy word processors with the built-in, where it's like part computer, part typewriter, and they're these behemoths, and I have to say I love the look of them.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
The electronic typewriters that I do have are a pair of Nakajimas, which Joe would know about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That have parallel ports built into them, so I can hook them up to my computers and use them as daisy wheel printers.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is the only reason I would really want one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are romantic to think about, though, in terms of dedicated word processing kind of devices that are also typewriters.
Yep. Nothing more fun than trying to find drivers that are 40 years old.
Now, Joe, you had mentioned font size or typeface, and
Yes.
that's small. And I love this thing. This is my Darth Vader. It's got a little dust on it, so don't. But
Oh,
Ooh, Optima.
Oh,
Pretty.
nice.
I love the
Beautiful.
red buttons on the side. But
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when it comes to typeface and size. I am pretty ignorant. So, but it has a very small typeface, and
It could be 13. I know some of the Europeans have 13 characters per inch. Almost. It's probably really a metric, but yeah.
And
What is the last number printed on the paper bale?
Oh boy.
On the scale, the paper scale.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a good way to
90.
tell.
90. That would be a Pika machine, I think. 'Cause
Really?
it would be like oh wait, no, it would be Elite.
It'd be elite like 12, basically.
Yeah, because it would be 80 if it was Pika.
It was Pika, yeah.
And then like the Royal Futura, those seem to have a small typeface too.
Right.
I've used those for postcards as well.
Yeah.
But they're really springy. I mean, you hit that, or something really bounce. There's a nice bounce back to them. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I love the Futuras.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know what that noise is. What's that noise, Ted?
Which noise?
The noise on the Royal Futura when you slam the key down.
I don't know because I don't have one.
I'll grab it.
It could be the
You're
it
breaking
could
my
be
heart.
the universal bar mechanism that activates the ribbon lift and drives the ribbon spools. It could be something to do with that.
Like a kerchunk sound. I'll go grab one. And Ted,
Yeah.
you
Go
don't
grab
have
one. Show us.
Okay.
It's show and tell.
I know Alton Gansky, who might not be able to join us for a while. He has other commitments, but he's the Royal Futura guru.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had somebody asking me some repair questions, advice about getting a Royal Futura apart. And I had to remember, I don't have one on my collection right now. I had to remember how to take it apart. I think it's one of those like the Hermes 3000 where you got to move the carriage to one side and move half of the body up and then move the carriage through the opening and move the other way. It's kind of one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah, you
deals.
probably would because it's got a unibody construction on the shell. So
Yeah. So while we're waiting for David, I just wanted to change the subject real quick. And I was over at my friend Ethan's last week making the giant ant video.
getting
And,
bit by ants.
yeah, but this is a Tyvek shipping envelope. And this is actually one of those U.S. Postal Service ones that if you misuse it, it's a federal fine. So, but this was typed with my Groma Calibri, and it prints extremely dark and nice on Tyvek. And so this is going to be a video that I'll probably do this week. It's about alternative typing stuff like Tyvek envelopes. And I had someone send me a letter. Who was it? Paul Hopper from California sent me a letter, and he typed his letter and some poetry on wet wipes. Disinfectant wet wipes that he dried out, and then he typed poetry.
wow.
Yeah, so
That is awesome.
but the Tyvek thing is this is a plastic material, right? And look how dark that is. I mean, it's really nice.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm going to have to go to Staples and get some legal Tyvek that I can use, misuse, and see if I can reproduce the same effect. Anyways, there you are, David. I
Here
was
we
just
are.
changing the subject. Oh yes, that's a classic Royal.
This was a $20 find.
Oh my goodness.
The guy that I got it from was very weird, which is
Oh
always,
boy.
And I know Joe's had some. He had like
Those are the best typewriters. Those are the best
They-
typewriters.
the stinky
Yeah.
hippie guy definitely
Yes.
had that experience with this. This thing smelled terrible, and but it's a beautiful typewriter, and it sounds when you use it. It just has this weird kind of clunky sound to it. Let me see if I can get that going here. All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to work this thing. It's been so long. Okay, so here, it sounds like this, Ted. You hear that kind of ding at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you press the space bar down, does the carriage move on the half press down? And does it move a half space on the down press and another half space on the release?
Boy, that's hard. That's a hard question. I'm not sure. I push it, hold it down. It hasn't moved, and then up. It
Okay,
moves.
so it's a full space machine. It's just
Yeah.
with the escapement rocker is they're making a loud clank when it rocks over, is what it sounds like. But
Very.
Actually, I am going to bet that it's happening when the type bar falls back onto the rubber pad. That chunk is probably happening when the type bar is falling back on its pad in the basket.
Huh.
It could be.
I like that we call it chunk. I agree that that's
That's a
the correct-
technical term.
Well, Ted writes the book, so he can call it.
So if you look under the type bars at rest, is there a little curved pad or rubber or piece of felt or something? You have to maybe take the cover, open the cover to see it.
see here. Oh,
Yeah, if it's rubber, it's probably that.
Yeah.
got a cool touch control though.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So
Sorry, let me make
No, that's okay.
we're not going to be able to see it, but if you reach in there and press that black thing underneath the type bars,
The little, the curved
and
piece.
see
that
if
they
it's a
rest
rubber
on.
piece or a felt piece.
Okay. Let's see.
On my screen, it looks like rubber.
It's rubber. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Then that's the
Chunk has been diagnosed.
kathunk of the rubber when it folds
It's
back
just
on.
it's just hard rubber, and you might be able to replace it with a fresh piece of tubing of some kind.
Yeah.
Felt would get rid of the noise
Okay.
Yeah.
if you replaced it with felt.
Very good.
I like the noise.
Then don't replace it.
So we have a couple more people in the comments here. We have Michael.
Okay.
Been lurking
Michael.
for a while. Never learned to type in school. Learned on my own in the Navy, but not touch typing. More an advanced hunt and peck method.
Yes.
I use hunt and peck, but not advanced.
I use the 2-finger hunt and peck method.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And one
Fancy.
thumb for the space
One
bar.
thumb.
And in the Navy, the typewriter is sliding around on the table as the ship rocks back and forth. So
I know.
Diane Myers always
Yes.
has come.
Yes, she's here
now
as well.
Hey,
come
Diane.
top.
Hey, Diane.
My talker broke.
Yes, and I
All
think
right.
we're all doing very well. So thank you.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Good to see you, Michael. Good to hear from you.
So the discussion today is traveling typing. So I think a good question, and I know that Joe likes to type in public, and this
Yep.
is kind of how. Correct me if I'm wrong. You found your love of thermals because they're less, they draw less attention, and
Yeah.
that's something that I actually don't want is attention when I'm typing, out in public. So
Look at me! Look at me!
No, I don't want to be that guy, but what do you guys? What's your thoughts on that? As far as bringing a typewriter into a public place and
I've been very shy about doing it because I am one of those people that does not like being watched.
Yeah.
I have taken my Alpha Smart Neo 2 to Barnes & Noble several times. Of course, it's not a typewriter. It looks a little weird maybe, but it doesn't draw much attention. I think I got 1 or 2 glances, but that was basically it.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to take a thermal typewriter because they are quiet, but having a roll of paper going off the edge of the table might draw some attention.
That's what's good. I've had people in coffee shops talk to me about my Alpha Smart, so I've had those attract attention. And of course, the thermals don't really attract attention, like you say, until the roll of paper is hanging off the table on the floor. But actually, I find for manual typing, what helps me to be able to cope with it is actually having something to write. Like if I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm just going to bring it, maybe I'll feel self-conscious. But if I'm actually working on a project, then I feel okay about it. Because if someone comes up to me and wants to accuse me of being a hipster just to be seen with a typewriter, I can say, well, I have actual work to do here. I'm actually writing with it, and this is how I create. I'm more creative when I'm in public. So, yeah.
You're not just writing the quick brown fox.
No. Or what is it on the what is that movie with Jack Nicholson? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Shining.
Just type that over and over again. The Shining. People will definitely not bother you if that's all you're typing. They're going to stay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ted? What do you think?
Typing in public, most of the time that I have done that has been when I'm on my way back from a thrift store after having found a typewriter. And I'm really excited that I want to type on it. So I'm hungry, so I have to go to the restaurant. And typing there generally always attracts attention. People want to know what I'm doing. They're usually very friendly about it. They want to tell me stories about how they used to type on typewriters. So it's not an environment I have ever noted is good for getting work done, but it is good for evangelism.
Yes.
Yeah. it helps to have a place that you go to frequently to type that you know is like friendly
if they
toward
know
you. At
you,
least the
then
staff is. Yeah.
they'll leave you alone.
Yep.
So before the whole pandemic, a local friend and I, well, I wasn't friends with him until we started meeting up with typewriters. Bob Marshall, he had started a local typewriter club, meeting in the basement of a coffee shop. So it was very small. Basically, it'd just be me, him, and sometimes his son, and we'd be there in the basement typing. So pretty much we would go unnoticed, but occasionally you'd have like a young couple come down there to play games or something.
Yeah.
So that happened, and we got some looks from them, but we just went about our business. And I think I was typing a blog post, and I'm not sure what Bob was working on, but yeah, he has a podcast, so maybe he was doing an outline or something for that. Yeah.
Basement typists. I like that.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's a good name.
Yeah. We had started talking about meeting upstairs to be more visible and approachable, but we never got to that point because of the pandemic. So
Right.
yeah.
Well,
So
our
I
local
decided-
typewriter group. Yeah, our local typewriter group is sort of on hold right now, also because of the
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah.
My friend Kevin and I, we meet out on his front porch occasionally, but it's not really that often. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to do a reset. You know, because social distancing and all that, it's hard to be a society when when you can't be close together, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were picking up some steam. You know. It
yeah,
seemed
we
like
were.
you getting,
Yeah, we had a good enthusiasm.
Yeah.
We had the Albuquerque Press Club as a venue for like a year ago last summer.
That was awesome. I
yeah.
saw that. That's like my dream is to go to a place like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
That was a beautiful
private
place.
bar, you know, and yeah, it was an old
Yeah.
historic building. So
Beautiful.
what do you got,
You and
David?
Dr. Gonzo.
Yes, exactly.
Ted has a question in the comments. Somebody's directing something towards.
Yes, here we go.
Yes, he's asking about my 200, which is my Tandy 200, which is the other TRS-80 computer that I've kept since the 80s. It's my 8-bit laptop. Let's see if it's actually got batteries in it. Nope. No batteries.
That's
But
a
I
good point,
generally
Michael.
not take that out to type with because the screen is not backlit, so it is very hard to see in the sun.
Oh.
There goes all the batteries. They fell out. So yeah, I don't. While I like to program with this computer and use it for like time-lapse photography and just various basic fun, I do not take it out and type with it very much. But we're talking about typewriters anyway instead of computers, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't had the. I love to share typewriters with people and have them try them out, and I love watching them type. And like we talked about paper fingers last, the event we held last year.
Yeah.
And we had some people who had never typed on a typewriter before, and that having that experience of being able to watch someone, when they come to the end and they hear the bell, their eyes light up, and then they look for the return button or the enter, and you tell them, no, you got to slide the thing, and then their jaw drops. I'm talking young people, younger people.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They touch. They're so soft. I said, no, man, you got to pound it. You got to, this is a physical action you have to do. And they're so used to, tablets and phones.
Yeah.
That experience of seeing that over and over again and watching people just they were all allowed to sit and write whatever they wanted. And a lot of times they'd just start. We compiled everything that they wrote into a zine afterwards. We kept all the paper, and a lot of the times you'd see a lot of the same thing. I don't know what to say. Here I am. This is me. But then after a while, they'd start actually saying something, and then they'd get quiet, and they wouldn't be speaking. As you're watching, and they're actually meditating. And they're not even knowing it. It's
Wow.
That's
one of the great things about type-ins is the little kids that just basically will take over a typewriter for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just can't get them off.
Those are the ones
that you want to get them off, but yeah. And a lot of times that's what we'll do is we'll have typewriters available for giveaways, and at the end of the day, when we see someone that just won't go away from the typewriter, we'll give them one. So.
Yeah.
Yep. And the philosophy behind the typewriter, I think now, is that we live in a world where, and this is what we were talking about at the event, where you're not allowed to make mistakes, right? We delete things, we pretend things never happened. We're expected to be perfectionists, right? And we all have this kind of avatar. And a typewriter, it doesn't care. It doesn't allow you that privilege. And you don't get to research. You don't get to, as a writer myself, I hate self-editing in real time. And it's something I struggle with because I always want to move forward. And that's what a typewriter allows you to do. You don't have to get it perfect the first time. Okay. This is the whole idea, is to get something down. And I think it's something that society now is missing. And that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make a mistake, just keep going forward. And what better analogy than a typewriter,
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I think maybe that's part of the draw of the whole analog resurgence, like vinyl records, and just, accepting physical things that have flaws. And it's kind of removing ourselves from all this, our digital life, at least for a moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fascinating. I would love to go to a real type-in. Now I mentioned
Throw it.
I mentioned my friend Bob. His son would come to the club sometimes, and it was just fascinating seeing him type. And like he was writing a thank you letter to one of his teachers, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next time you have one in Phoenix, Ted, maybe Gregory should drive over from California if we ever have type-ins again.
If we ever have type-ins again, that is the question.
Yeah.
I do have a brother in Bullhead City.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
Which
wouldn't
is
be
nowhere
That gives you a
me.
reason to come over.
Okay, so that didn't help, but at least I would have a
typewriter,
reason to go to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a
If
couple.
we-
Go ahead.
Oh, if we ever have one again, then you're all
know.
invited.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. So we have
Sarah's
a
going to
couple.
take us on a trip.
Yeah. So setting that up. And then we have a
that
comment
sounds
from
good.
Michael.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's talking about typing at Starbucks.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
he gets the manager's permission. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there
a
we
good
go.
idea, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so had all three. Well, I know. I think all three of you have been to Typins then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm the odd
Yep.
one out.
My first.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Yep, we lost him. He unplugged.
Yeah, my first couple type-ins were at Phoenix, right, with Ted.
Okay.
And then we started some here in Albuquerque. We started doing them twice a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you did a travel video where you went to the Phoenix Type-In, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Interviewed a few people, including Ted.
Yes.
Yep.
Including Diane.
Diane, and also, let's see, Bill Wall. We interviewed Bill.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I occasionally go back through your back catalog of videos.
Yeah, I sometimes have a problem remembering. Did I do a video about that or not on some subject? But
Yeah.
I actually got I had a phone call last week from Bill, or maybe a week before last. We talked on the phone. That was fun.
Oh, really? What'd you talk
Yeah.
about?
Just how things are going, and what's
Okay.
going on, and yeah, had a good
So he
time.
just
Good
called you
chat.
out of the blue to
Yeah,
talk
he
about-
left a message, and I was at work, and I
Mhm.
called him back a day or two later, and yeah, we had a good talk. Yeah,
That's
was
pretty
fun.
cool.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to him about the Groma Calibri and all the little tinkering I'd been doing with it and all that. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah, hopefully
It's good to
Greg, you'll be
maintain.
able to... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's good to be able to maintain contact with people.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just hopefully you'll be able to have a type-in. I mean, make one. That's what
Yeah.
I did. And
Right.
I used an art gallery space, and I wasn't afraid to let people touch the typewriters. I know that's that's
Right.
what they're for. They're supposed to be used. So just 2 days, and we did a writing prompt, and had about 18 writers, artists. We just announced it all at the same time. The writing prompt was, "There's no such thing as free rent," and then they wrote, and it was so cool because he said it, and then everybody just starts going, "Okay, I can do that," and yeah, where there doesn't exist one, create one.
Yeah,
We've got enough typewriters.
That's right.
Well, being at the library, I was in the early stages of at least considering making a program around typewriters, like even just having a public typewriter that patrons could come in and type on, kind of borrowing the idea from, I don't remember the bookstore that did it, but there was a bookstore, I think on the East Coast. He had a public typewriter, and he just left it out, and the patrons would type on it, or customers would type on it, and it ended up having some really profound and personal entries on there, and so he made a book of it. So
yeah, that's a good book. Yeah, that's a good book.
I think Richard Polt was in Cleveland. There was an art museum that had set something up with just an endless piece of paper that was people could just continue to write, and he had to go over there and repair something. I don't remember what it was, but
I remember that. Yeah.
And you, as a someone who works at a library, would be in an ideal position to have a type in, because actually one of the ones that we've been having for the past few years is one of the local kids sets him up at his Chandler Public Library, and they give him a room for a certain amount of hours on a certain day, and everyone just goes there. And because it's a library, you get a lot of kids walking in.
Yeah.
From because it's right there next to the children's section of the library, and that's been really great. Is we have dozens and dozens of kids come in, and they're just fascinated, and they like I said, you can barely tear them away from the machines at the end of the day.
Yeah. Our library is kind of unique because it is one big room, but we can technically go just outside of our library. We have our walls facing into the mall are just glass, so you could see in, see out. So we could theoretically set tables up out there. And I honestly, I don't think the mall would mind.
I dare you.
I know, huh?
Yes. Well, that reminds me that someone should probably, if nobody's already done this, make at least a blog article about how to do a type in, right? I mean, there's a lot of logistics around finding a venue, having a good relationship with whoever owns the venue or controls it, having things like a collection of typewriters that are rugged enough for public use. Like certain typewriters you don't want to bring in public, right? Having
Hermes 3000s.
Yes. having folding tables and chairs if you need to, and having all the other things. Bringing a power strip and an extension cord if you want to have a few electric machines, right? Those kind of things, right? There's a whole list of things that you have to think about to do a type in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And now with COVID, it's a little more complicated because you have to socially distance. It's
Yeah.
hard to help somebody at a machine when you're that close.
Yeah.
That would be a good candidate machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have no worries about something happening to this one. First of all, it's fairly basic. And the keys, I think, would be very suitable for children. Actually, they're a little on the small side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that's another good thing about collecting typewriters is having a collection of machines. Not that you necessarily like all that much for yourself, but having them available for type-ins.
Yeah. All right. We have. Go ahead, Joe.
No, that was my idea. Sarah is online here.
Yeah, we have Sarah.
Hi.
Good morning. Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Hi.
So here's the trunk of my car. It's full of typewriters because that's totally normal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm here in San Jose at the Egyptian Museum. I thought you guys would enjoy a pretend Egyptian vacation. And
Very
I brought
good.
some typewriters with me. So let me see if I can do this. I don't know how well it will work. My battery is going to pretend it's going to die on me already. If you look behind me, you can see these palm trees. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a Princess 300 and a Olympia Splendid 33 that I'm going to set up here to type.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'll let you guys keep talking, and I'll see if I can make it a decent thing so that it looks like we're pretending we're in a real place. Also, there's nobody here. I've got hand sanitizer and a mask if I need it. So
I keep thinking about Steve Martin's "Dance Like an Egyptian" for some reason. That song goes through my head.
Yeah.
Funky nuts.
Yeah.
So you guys have portable typewriters, which I've been watching you this morning. Sorry to be a little bit disjointed here as I get set up. My mom decided she wanted to borrow the Hermes 3000, so instead I've got this other machine. Let me see if I can show it to you.
Oh, nice.
Let's see.
Ooh.
Can you guys guess what that is?
Olympia.
Yes, that's the Olympia Splendid 33 with a very unusual case.
Oh.
We got this from Serbia.
Oh,
It took
wow.
many, many months to come to us.
Yeah.
I tied the ribbon on there because it doesn't work too well. As you can see.
Oh, nice. It looks like an Olympia SF almost, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's a Splendid 33, but it's almost the same thing as the SF.
Yeah.
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 That's nice.
They're neat. Mm-hmm.
Is it a Serbian keyboard or is it?
This is
Western?
the Quartz Z. Yeah,
Quartz Z,
QWERTZ. Yeah, and then I have another one which is I'll show you guys this one. This is a Princess. Just a second here.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So these are what I have for travel typewriters. I have one other Splendid 33 that is a American or a US, English setup. But these ones are the QWERTZ, and I'm fine with them if I just remind myself. But sometimes I forget. All right, I'll let you guys get back to what you're doing.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, you're
that's
welcome.
wonderfable.
Yeah, I have a
So welcome
French
to Egypt.
adder. Let me find
Yes.
Pretend
Dance
Egypt.
like an
Beautiful
Egyptian.
columns, yeah.
Dance like an Egyptian.
That's awesome.
Type like an Egyptian. Actually, they didn't have typewriters, did they?
No, probably not. Or
They
or
do
did
now.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hear that in India, typewriters are still pretty well used, and they just closed down one of their last factories or something.
Yeah.
It
And
goes
there's
in the
really nowhere
Godrej
for
factory in 2015, I think, or 2017.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's hard for those guys to find repair people. So
Right.
It's interesting how in some places typewriters are still quite a big deal. They're part of their daily lives.
David has another typewriter.
I do. We're talking about weird keyboards. So
Let me zoom in on you.
Ooh,
an
what
ad.
you got there? Oh, a Tippa.
Ooh, Tippa.
Yeah.
It looks all white.
It's an Azerty.
Azerty.
That's a French keyboard, right?
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Azerty.
No,
That's
How do
hard
you
to
type
type
on that thing?
Yeah, Azerty's French. Okay.
Carefully, I guess. Yeah.
Carefully.
Yeah.
Yes. That's cool.
Do you have to only type in French when you use this?
Yes, it
Right?
actually has an accent.
You can only say oui.
You say, you
Je
crazy
m'appelle
Americans.
Yeah.
You crazy Americans.
But they're nice.
Oh, the Germans are coming. We like you, Americans.
And I think it's got the.
Everybody to get from streets.
Oh,
Wow, look at that.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Maison. Our maison.
They will sell no wine before their time.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yes, right.
It's a nice little.
Wow,
typewriter.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's got a cool the Adler.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Very good.
wonderful.
How many machines do you have, David, in your collection?
I have no idea.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
But see,
Yeah, the response is,
well, I mean,
well,
I'm in such a spot. I mean, if you go to Wisconsin, near Milwaukee, you find that is where you guys should all go on vacation because there's so many typewriters out there. It's ridiculous.
Huh.
But
Are they
in
cheap?
Chicago, it used to be that you could find them pretty easily, and
Yeah.
now that the market's kind of, I haven't bought one in a long time. So, but I was getting.
I want to know the destination for $20 Hermes. Tell me where to go. I'll pack my
Yeah,
bag.
$5 Hermes.
You're the one who would know that.
I just got lucky one day. I don't think it'll ever happen again. You know, I
The
wish.
odds,
I wish
yeah.
I knew. If I find out the secret, you'll be the first to know. Trust me. I'll send one to everybody. It'll be like a free sample for joining the club.
Does your Azerty have a 0 key? No.
Oh.
It has an O key, but no 0.
Huh. So the only Azerty keyboard I have is the tiny little flip-up typewriter. What is that? Anyway, I forget the brand,
Louis.
but yeah, the Rui. Thank you, the Rui, NJ Rui typewriter is the only one I have, and it is a little difficult to get used to, but compared to Quirt Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any suggestions for fixing old, like, falling apart cases? Because a lot of these portables, at least like the Princess that I have, is completely falling apart.
Oh.
And even the feet are like off of it. So basically it detaches itself from the base. Have you guys run into this problem before? See, I don't know if I can show you. Can you see that? What's happening there?
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a problem.
You
And
know,
then
a lot
this
of the
stuff.
soft cases, they have like the Olivetti letters are known for the zippers being weak, and they rip out, the fabric rots out, so you can't really just stitch up a new zipper. But what I do with small typewriters is I just get those computer bags, kind of like what Ted showed earlier with his a Seiko machine, is just get a computer bag and use that instead. You know.
Yeah, that's
I
a
have
good
heard
idea.
that if you go to a cobbler, a shoe repair guy, they can replace the zipper in a zipper case.
Ah.
It's actually not that expensive.
That's good.
And I was thinking
Can they
cherry
fix
cobbler.
the stitching, Ted? Or
I believe so. Yeah,
Sorry.
they have.
It's always
Breakfast for
about
Joe.
food. It's always about food. Sorry.
It's okay.
Cobblers,
It's okay.
that's another thing that's kind of a dying art. But if you buy one
Yeah.
good pair of shoes, man, cobblers are awesome. We have one in town, and it's a family-run business, and they're awesome. Yeah, I would say either that or a tailor, maybe even a poster, somebody poster.
What's fun is in my town we have a typewriter repair guy and a cobbler right next to each other.
That's convenient.
No way.
in the
That's like
very same
Mecca.
building.
Does he subcontract?
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
No, they each
They
have
have
their
to.
own little place and
No,
but they just
I
happen to be right next to each other.
Like for the typewriter
Wow.
repair guy, if he runs into someone with a broken case or something, would he send
He
business
might.
that way,
I haven't
or-
asked.
Yeah.
I have not asked that, but I'm
Okay.
sure he would if he knew it could be done.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Is
wanting to
that
ask if they can do that.
Yeah. Is that Bill's shop that's next to
Bill's
the,
shop, yeah.
yeah.
Right next to
Well, he
Bill's
owns-
shop is Lamb
He
Shoe
owns the whole
Repair.
building, right? He owns the whole building.
He does.
So he's probably
he does own.
yeah. He's
Well-
getting rent from the guy, right?
I don't think so. I think the
No?
shoe repair guy
Oh.
owns his own
Okay.
piece of the building, but Bill owns the part he's in and the part behind him.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
he does rent out that back part.
Yeah. Well, I had a cobbler or a shoe guy maybe 15 years ago replace the leather strap on my Graflex Speed Graphic camera. And he did a great job. You know, he just had to stitch up the handle to the hardware, the new leather strap. So I'm sure they could do a case, but it's all about how much money is it worth, to you to get it done. Oh, Diane's is next to an auto repair shop.
Yeah.
Hi, Diane.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird that we
cool.
talk about these
Well,
things. because now
typewriters and cars are related.
we
Yeah.
live in such a throwaway society where it's like, oh, when it's broken, you just get a new
cool.
one,
Yeah,
Brian?
right.
And it is worth it to have something repaired,
Yeah.
And these typewriters would last forever. I mean,
Yeah.
That
yes,
kind of
Brian?
leads to a question about cost of repairs. I was going to ask you guys.
They're free for me.
What do you
'cause
think
I
is
just
reasonable?
fix my own machines.
Right. Well, so I've fixed some for a few of my friends, and I haven't charged much, but I've seen that our local typewriter guy charges a lot. What's your thinking on that? For me, it's like I don't want to charge more than the typewriter itself would be worth, So what
Well,
are your thoughts when you guys do that?
Well,
let David.
there's the cost of a fully restored typewriter in terms of, like, my local typewriter guy has some typewriters for sale that have been completely gone over, and he'll charge $300 to $400 for a completely, this is like stripped down to the chassis, hot oil, salt bath, everything, right?
Completely
Rebuilt from the
redone.
ground up. So that's one.
That's kind of what I'm seeing here too.
Yeah, that's one kind of value. But then there's also people that are selling. They're not really professionals. They're just selling online, and they say they reconditioned it, but that really means maybe they sprayed some WD-40 in it. We don't know what they did, right, to clean it. So there's a wide spectrum of what kind of work has been done as far as, and so that's kind of what you have to look at, is the value of what the work is that's gone into it. Because what does a typewriter worth? What is it worth? It really depends. It could be worth nothing almost, other than parts, if it's that broken. Or on the other hand, if it's fully restored, maybe with a JJ Short Platinum, it could be worth $400. So the condition of it and the kind of work that's gone into it has a lot to do with the worth.
Typewriter Justice on well, he has a YouTube channel, but he also sells online.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
He actually replaces the platen, the feed rollers, the feet, does a complete chemical clean. I mean, when he gives you a typewriter, it's like fresh off the factory floor, and he charges a lot for them, but you're actually getting value for that.
But you're getting something amazing. Yeah, exactly.
I would say that you pay what they ask. And the reason
you pay what
why
they ask
is because they are an expert and they are a craftsman, and there's not a lot of them. And to keep this all going, you think about, we are so conditioned now to expect things to be cheap that something like $100 for repair for something that's a typewriter that nobody even uses. Well, this guy has probably spent his whole life researching and learning the craft. It's probably handed down to him. So whenever I would go see Larry, he would tell me what the price was, and I'd always just say, yeah, do it, because it's worth it to have that, and it's worth it to give Larry the money, to keep him going. So
absolutely.
Yeah, don't ever
absolutely
try to go. If Larry would say, you get what you pay for. If you want something done right, you go seeing him. If you want something done cheap, then you're going to go see him later on. So
yeah, that's right.
Also, in your pricing, you want to
But this is a supplement to that question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, we're waiting on you.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Somehow I'm missing. Sorry. Oh, it's just so I had completely deep cleaned and fixed up some machines for people. I mean, I didn't replace the platen, but I spent a good 5 or 6 hours on each machine at least. And I told them, $25. What do you think? And they said, oh, well, and each of them gave me 50. And I thought that was nice, but I didn't really think that. I said, I'm not a professional repair person, and I'm new to this. I'm just doing the best I can. Is that, what do you think of that?
That's $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine, but,
yeah.
which is, a third of what I'm worth, but usually, but whatever,
Just look up prevailing
But the way I
wage
see it is,
in your
their
county
machine
and
is like a family heirloom.
By the hours.
Yeah, if you look at what
I would hate to, I don't want to charge them 100, 150 because it's like that's what the machine's worth.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If I'm working on a typewriter for somebody, I'm not going to charge them what a shop would charge. More just because I don't have the expertise of a shop like that professional, and I'm not presenting myself as that kind of person. So
yeah.
Exactly.
Joey, I actually thought about
and I always say, if I can't figure, or if it's more complicated, I want you to go see these guys that are professionals.
Exactly. Yeah. What was that, Gregory?
I actually thought about sending you Canon Typestar 7 that is having issues. I don't know if maybe you would get a video out of it, and I mean, I would, pay for shipping
at least a video,
maybe a little extra.
Sure. Nothing, just shipping. Yeah, just send it to me. I'll see if I can tinker with it.
Okay. Because I'm slowly but surely collecting the entire Typestar line. I guess we lost Sarah, but I'm slowly collecting that line. I've just fallen in love with the Canon Typestars, and the 7 is one I've had difficulty getting. Also, anything before 4 is pretty expensive.
Right.
So if you'd be open to that, I would like to do
I'll take a look at it.
You'd get a video out of it anyway.
Yeah. If I can fix it for you and send it back to you, that would be great. Yeah,
and of course I'd pay return shipping as well, obviously.
Oh yeah. So I'm thinking the thermal typewriters must have only been out for about a decade at most. Ted, do you think?
Not even that. I think they lasted maybe at most 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's fascinating about them, right? Is they're just a short little history of the typewriter, larger typewriter history.
And it's such a different way of doing it.
Exactly.
The fact that they were able to, let's do this idea and see if this catches on, and then even more than that is the pen plotter typewriters.
Oh yeah, right.
That only lasted 2 years.
Yeah, I actually have one of those.
Oh wow. I was going to say that there is possibly, you might call it a thermal typewriter that's still being made, but it's actually a thermal printer. It's those shipping envelope printers, right? That print. I showed you last week this little photography book made of, right? you could actually use that as a thermal printer, sort of pseudo typewriter, I guess, right? With the right computer. But
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny that you mentioned that because so we received this mysterious package in the mail, and I forget. I think it was addressed to my wife, and so we opened it up, and it was a thermal printer, like one of these label printers. And we were like, "What in the world? Were you getting this for one of your jobs or something?" And she looked into it, and no, wasn't expecting anything. So it turned out it was an Amazon error, and after talking to them, they realized the error that they had made. So they didn't even ask us to return it. They said you can keep it. So I've been using it now, and yeah, it's I haven't tried like typing a document and trying to print it on there. I've just been doing shipping labels, but yeah, it's kind of funny how that thing fell into our laps. So
Legally speaking, if Amazon sends you something, you don't have to return it ever.
Okay.
That's postal law.
Okay.
So Gregory, you should type me a thermal postcard on that, and see if it works.
Yes, I've been thinking about that actually. So
Yeah,
fun.
that'll be fun.
I could also use the labels in thermal typewriter.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're 4x6, so
yeah, they are, right? Yeah.
Yep. Now, David, how do you feel about thermal typewriters?
I hate them. No, I don't. No, I don't own any.
Yeah.
I don't own any. So I don't know. I'm more of a manual typewriter kind of guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I think, Joe was, I didn't even know about them until watching Joe's videos.
Yes.
But, to each their own.
Yeah.
I love, late at night, you got the window open and you're typing right along, and there's that just the feeling, the mechanics of it all.
Right.
I feel like you're really doing something. Like that when you, as a writer, like it's a physical act. And
all right, we have
go ahead.
We have Brian joining us.
Hi.
All right.
Hi, Brian.
Hey there. and my dog, Cole. He wants to see what's going on all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good to see you guys.
Right on.
So the big topic is traveling with typewriters. Have you done any traveling with typewriters?
A bit, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I actually have a number of thermal typewriters. And I've got one of the pen plotter typewriters like Ted's got.
Yeah.
They're all pretty fun.
Yep.
Typing in public, I think the one I've had the most success typing in public on is actually my little Alder Tippa, just because it's you're either going to make no noise or make so much noise that people look at you anyways. It's a really interesting typewriter to talk about. People come and talk to you about it. It's not really flying under the radar. It's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
But if I would have an ugly or uninteresting typewriter, then I feel more self-conscious about it. But people come up and they talk about the typewriter, they don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's true.
Sarah's back.
Oh no, she's gone again. I think she's having connection issues out there.
Yeah, this is my.
Yep.
Oh, let's take a look.
It's the one I take. Right.
Ooh,
Oh, that's sweet.
That's beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, man.
It's like one of those 50-50 bars.
Yeah, that was the idea.
The dreamsicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I take this out and type with it, and people don't talk to me about what I'm writing. They say, what's with the typewriter?
The dog enjoys it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
That's a beautiful dog, by the way.
Thank you.
That's neat.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a beautiful typewriter, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah, the color scheme reminds me of one of the typewriters on my wish list, which is the Olympia Traveler Deluxe, the orange and white one.
Oh yeah, it's got like white on the sides and orange in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a pretty typewriter.
Yeah.
This was actually a repaint. This was gray and darker gray, and it was damaged in shipping. So when I got it, one of the corners was all broken out. and I glued it all back together and primered it and painted over it. So
Wow, that looks great.
Does that
Well,
include
Hello, Brian.
torpedo at all?
what's that?
Does anyone have a torpedo?
I do.
I
He
used
does.
to.
Oh, excellent.
Brian does. It's
I
black and
cannot
yellow.
Find one. Yeah, I cannot find one out here, or a princess. Yeah.
Yep.
Oops, let me do that.
Ah,
Oh, bigger than I thought.
Yeah, they're kind of like
This
an Olympia size, SM.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually a Remington torpedo.
Oh,
But same thing, just different keys, I guess.
yeah. Yeah.
These are huge. Yeah.
They look like Remington keys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chiclet gum keys.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the way the keys are two-tone. They've got a separate top and a cup on the bottom and the top.
Yeah. I find the gray space bar to be odd. I guess it matches the undersides of the keys, but
Yeah.
Well, actually, that
Seems
was the
like-
color. That was the color of the top.
oh,
It was just darker
Oh.
gray.
Oh, okay.
So again, it was gray with darker gray on it when I got it.
I see. It's a beautiful machine, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was trying to lick that too.
As far as color, let me grab this.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
Console.
Oh, console. Nice.
This is like a
Sweet.
parade of colors.
Yeah, this was in Chicago, and I spent more. I used to have like a $30 limit, but this one I think was $80. But
Nice.
I've never, and it's metal. It looks like it's plastic. But
Ah.
yeah,
I like the logo on that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of faded.
It's raised though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raised lettering. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very
How does
nice.
it type, David? Does
It's
it type good?
it's okay. It's not
Yeah.
something I would use all the time, but it's
Yeah.
snappy. You can
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good.
There's the console.
Let's take a look at that.
Oh hey,
Everybody's got a blue console.
Ah, it's a different logo though.
Yeah, this is a little bit more 50s looking.
Yeah.
A little more modern, but same thing.
Those are some chunky looking keys.
Yeah, they're huge. Well, they've got this bevel on them that makes them feel really like marshmallows or something. They're really
Yeah.
strange shape.
now how do you get in there to work on it? Does the
Um,
cover come off?
There's a cover that comes off,
Ah.
Very
and then
cool.
at the bottom of it's one continuous piece of metal. The bottom of it is.
Okay.
Actually, it's plastic. The bottom's plastic. I didn't realize that.
Nice.
But this top is all one piece of stamped metal
Yeah.
Wow.
with this
cool.
little divot in the middle of it.
Right.
Very
Can't see it
nice.
here.
And that very same console design was also distributed by Commodore in Canada.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they're known by the duckbill Commodore logo that's actually on there. So people who collect Commodore computers are bidding those things up into stratospheric prices. So if you find one of those at a thrift store, you've got quite a nice deal.
I love the dog.
Yeah, man. You could ride that thing. Enormous.
I know.
So, Gregory, you were saying that you wanted an orange and white typewriter, right?
Yes.
Well, just get some vanilla ice cream and sprinkle orange tang on it, and that gives you the same thing.
He knows what he's talking about. He's a professional.
I do. That's a good snack. That's a good snack.
That does sound good, actually. The
It
tank is hard
yes.
to find now.
I know.
Not for
Well,
Joe.
if it was good enough for the Apollo astronauts, it's good enough for
I know,
me.
huh?
Yeah. Now, did the astronauts have typewriters? No.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Probably not. Probably not.
My guess
probably
is
like-
if they did, it would be a thermal typewriter.
Yeah, it wouldn't. They'd have a problem with the shift returning back. It wouldn't fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You have to have springs on both ends of the shift mechanism.
Yeah, that's good.
That's right. Exactly.
Shift and unshift. Shift, unshift.
Unshift.
Like a car transmission.
That's right.
Wow.
Brian,
Well,
did you have
so-
another one that you wanted to
Oh,
show?
oh yeah, we were talking about colors.
Yeah.
This is the most
Oh.
red typewriter.
Oh my
Starfire.
goodness.
Remington.
Yeah, so
Streamliner?
well, yeah, it's
Oh,
the same thing,
Starfire.
but yeah, it's marked as the red one's the Starfire.
Okay, okay.
Actually, they made the Starfire in other colors, but only the red has the matching keys.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's gorgeous.
That is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a typewriter that I wanted to have to complete my rainbow, but I probably spent way too much money on it.
Anything
Red
red,
typewriters
yeah.
go for a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
So
Is that made in Holland?
Yep. Let's see.
Netherlands? Yeah.
I think it says that back here. Yep, in Holland.
Made in Holland. Yeah. Very cool.
Yep.
So that's kind of like a Remington 870 chassis inside, internal.
I couldn't tell you. It's like the Streamliner that they made for years and years, but
Okay.
it's got a molded. The bottom of this case is plastic, and the other clamshell half of the case is molded exactly that color. So it's a red typewriter with the red keys in a red case.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
It's probably
I think
still cheaper than a Valentine, though, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I spent crazy money, but I didn't spend Valentine money.
Yeah.
Crazy money in my collection is like $100.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think I have an Aqua Streamliner.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. You know, it's kind of a low end typewriter, but
Yeah, I was actually surprised for how cool it looks, how basic it is. I mean, there's no rollers on the paper hold down. Just no bells or whistles anyplace. Well, there's a bell, but really basic. It looks cool.
Nice. Might be, is that an SM7?
Yes.
Yep.
It's in that blue color.
Yeah.
Oh,
This was one of my first typewriters.
wow.
Nice.
That's a good
That's
start.
Yeah. That's
You
a
guys ready
sweet
for the price
machine.
tag on this one?
Yes. Go for it.
$18.
Wow.
Oh.
Nice.
So I was at an antique shop and I said, "Do you guys have any typewriters?" She said, "I think I have one, but it's at home." And then she called me and said, "Come pick it up." It was
Wow.
$18. So
Wow.
nice. I paid $18 for my Hermes 3000.
awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not anymore, right?
No,
Not anymore.
this was a few years ago.
Somebody was in the antique typewriter collectors was posting. There was one for sale. It was the curvy model for $200, and they're like, "Should I get it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, get it right now. These
Why are you asking us?
yeah, and it had the case and the I believe the manual and everything inside, and
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy. 2 years ago or a year ago, I probably would have said, "Oh, just wait." But now it's like these things you can't find them anymore. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's David Torres in Austin Typewriter Inc. would say, "No, it's a terrible typewriter. Send it to me. I'll get rid of it for you."
That's right. You don't want that typewriter. I'll take
No,
it.
no.
There are some people who are not big fans of the Hermes 3000, and I don't understand why. Because there's just something about it it's so wonderful to write on.
Yeah. It's the cult of Hermes.
Well, you have a
As we
Hermes
call it.
3000. You've got that 70s blue one, which
Yeah.
I'm envious
Yeah.
of because I love the color on that.
Yeah, it types really nicely, and it's actually one of my quietest typing machines. They're surprisingly quiet, and I like them. Yeah, you have to be a member of the cult, though. What do you
I'll
got
share
there,
my Hermes 3000.
Brian?
I have to move my keyboard.
What about you, Ted? Are you a cult of the Hermes 3000? Oh, wait.
I do
Oh,
have
yes.
2 of them. So
Yeah, He's a cult member. All right. Well,
And
that's
you
pretty
enjoy
cool, Brian.
You enjoy the way they feel?
I do. I'm not a gigantic fan of them. I mean, it's not my favorite typewriter, but it is one that I enjoy typing on occasionally. I think it's the user interface that bothers me. It's so unintuitive that I can't really get used to it. I don't type enough on it to be to where I know where everything's at and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they tend to get relegated to the maybe once a month typing experience, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the machine. So,
well, you haven't been properly indoctrinated, Ted, into the cult if you don't know where all the controls are.
Well, I mean, both of them are the 1964, so they both have the the button with the X and the dash and the so you don't really you have to hit a couple buttons before you figure out which one does what.
Yeah, I've got the one that actually says what they do on it. That's a big
So does anybody have any travel plans between now and the end of the year for going on a trip or vacation?
Nope.
Friday. I'm going to.
Friday? Where are you going?
We're going up north near a forest in a cabin in Michigan.
Oh.
Are you bringing a typewriter?
I am bringing a typewriter. I'm bringing the dogs, and we're going to go do some canoeing and just chill out.
Wow, very cool.
I'm overdue for a vacation. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Hi, puppy.
Is Madeline.
I'm Madeline.
Madeline. Hey, Madeline.
How about you, Joe? Are you going on vacation?
Well, I don't have one planned, but I do have long weekends, and so we might head on up to northern New Mexico between now and maybe the end of the year sometime before it gets really cold. Somewhere I'd like to go just for a couple days, Haven't planned it yet, but I want to get out somewhere. And I think this whole year has been one of those weird years where, you really have to work to make yourself feel normal again, right? So you have to go get some time away and get out and get away from things. Get away from civilization.
Hey, we got someone else.
Hi, Diane.
Diane.
Hey, Diane. Hey, Diane.
Uh-oh. We lost her.
We got to see her for a little while.
She's been trying for a while to get in here.
I know.
The connections are. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been, and it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but I want to rent an RV and certainly take at least a couple typewriters. I just think that would be an amazing vacation. Yeah.
Hey,
now,
it's Elton Gansky, man. I'm a huge fan. I love your videos, bud.
Oh, he's here. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Alton.
Somewhere. I'm not sure where it is.
Now we're all quiet. You have to talk.
We have to fill in the dead air time. You can't have dead air.
Yeah.
Dead air. Oh no!
It violates the FCC rules.
Alton, there is a link in the comments, I believe, of the YouTube channel. Maybe in the description. And you should be able to click on that and get in.
Yeah, it's the one in the comments, not the one in the description.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go.
StreamYard.
I was looking for a book that I recently purchased. I'm not sure where it is.
Take that call.
I would if I could. It's nothing. Sorry about that, everyone.
We also have Dan Linder.
Yes.
Oh, that
Rainy
was an
and
old one.
cold
I'm sorry.
Sweden.
That was an
That's
old
it. That's the one we've seen already.
Yeah, yeah.
I like your folding desk there.
Thank you. I like it too. It's a Remington Rand desk.
Oh, very nice.
Cool. Wow.
Did you find that at a thrift store?
Kind of. I found it at Habitat for Humanity store.
There you go. Yeah.
And they had it when I went in. They had it marked down like $100 from what it was before. I think I paid maybe $250 for it.
Wow.
But
Not terrible.
Once I went there and I saw what it was, I'm like, I kind of looked around like, does anybody else know what this is? Because I don't even think they knew it flipped up. That's a Remington Rand desk. Getting it in my car was a different thing.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I was so stupid. I almost died. It was really stupid. The seat pushed way up into the steering wheel, so my hands are like this. If I would have gotten in a fender bender, I would have died.
Yeah, that would have come right up there and smashed you right through the window.
They could have buried you in your desk.
Right.
You have those moments where you do find something and you're like, you know that it's a good typewriter, and you get scared because you're like, oh, I better, and nobody else cares. You're the only person, and you're like, I can't believe, and then you go up to buy it, and you're trying to remain calm, and
they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't.
I've done that a number of times.
Yeah. You're trying to keep your poker face. You don't want them to know that you're excited about it. Right.
Here, I want to buy this
have to grab the
typewriter
machine
for no reason.
Yeah. You do have to grab the machine because someone will grab it if you don't.
Yeah.
That's right.
True.
Hey, Diane. Hello.
Looks like Diane's connection.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
There she is.
There we go.
Hi, Joe.
Hi there.
Hey.
How you doing?
I don't know if
You're on.
I
So have
gave
you
up
been-
on my laptop. I can't connect to this thing on it.
Well,
Well,
you're
you're
on
on
now.
your phone. Yep.
How have I been? I'm fine.
Good. How's the family?
I'll be right back. She muted herself.
I think she's lagging.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's answering questions.
I'm on my
that are-
phone because I can't get on via the laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so
Well,
have
while
you
we
been,
have a down moment here, I'm going to show the book I was looking for.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Hey, look.
Oh, yes.
That's,
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
we
very
know that
excited.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was thrilled to pick this up. It's the first in a series of 3, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
with J.D. Stanton.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool. Yeah. I should send it to him so he could sign it for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get in too. I don't know if he's still trying or. Yeah. Oh, I did also. I'm not going to look for it, but I did pick up the latest volume of the Richard Poltz books.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
The backspaces.
Yes, Backspaces.
Backspaces.
Yes. I did finally get that, so
Good.
that'll be interesting. I find it funny that he's pricing them so that there's like no profit being made.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's part of the point is that he just wants to get those stories out to people. So
That's good. That's good.
He's really cutting the price down to almost to where he's not making anything. I don't think.
Yeah, probably
Does that
not.
have the power space, Ted?
Yes, that's the XL 747 Webster.
Yeah. I had one of those, the same color.
Yep, Joe had one of those. This is actually the machine that I bought from Dwayne over at Phoenix Typewriter.
Oh yeah.
The time that I went up to his shop up in North Phoenix, I found this on Craigslist for $25. which is kind of crazy
Yeah.
for someone who's running a shop. And so I drove up there and got it, and that's all he wanted for it. And so I spent a couple hours talking to him and getting to
Wow.
learn about his shop and the way he does things, and
Yeah.
got a practically free typewriter out of the deal as well.
Nice.
Wow.
He's the reason I bought an air compressor.
Ah,
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, why didn't I own one of these before? Everything's so much easier, you know.
yeah.
especially
So
with
I like
typewriters.
I like his YouTube channel, and I think he uses his camcorder on a gooseneck stand of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
It's
way
in
he
front
can
of
move
him.
his Yeah, I like that setup, the way he does it. I've been thinking about that in terms of doing like repair videos. He does it really well. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Okay,
do
who
you like
here-
that typewriter, Ted? Do you
go.
like that?
Oh, I love that typewriter. That's
Dalton
one of my
Gansky,
favorite
nice.
YouTube
Hey.
ones. And so, yeah, love it.
Who is not a fan of Dalton Gansky? Man, what a Sunday.
My dog.
Here, man.
Hey,
Your dog isn't a fan?
No, I'm kidding.
I think we're locked on Joe's unhappy face there.
Uh-oh.
Or
Hi, everybody.
Joe.
he's napping.
Let's turn
It's
it
been
into
a
a
busy
meme.
morning.
R.I.P. Joe.
So how are you, Alton?
I'm doing fine. It's been kind of a busy morning, going from one meeting to another.
Yeah.
So,
And now
I
here
just
you
finished
are.
one Zoom call, and now I'm here to pester you guys.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thrilled to finally pick up one of your books.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
You're a bunch of writers. I tell you about the story behind part of that.
Why not tell us?
Yeah, please do.
Some of us are writers.
Some of us are.
Or we
Alrighty,
pretend to
well-
be, at least.
I know.
I didn't write it on a typewriter, but let's pretend I did, and that way it'll sound like we're still on topic.
Okay.
I wrote that book quite a while ago, and I was trying to get in with a larger publisher, and it's done by proposals. And I used to do my book proposals a little different than others, and I work under the idea that you never give them a reason to say no. So I was proposing to Zondervan. Zondervan is a subsidiary of, used to be an independent publisher, subsidiary of Harper Row.
Okay.
And so anyway, I was proposing something, but I'd always put an extra sheet in there with some other topic ideas. And I'm very visual, so I like things formatted a certain way. And I got to that last page, and there's a big white space at the bottom of this page. And it wasn't a decorative kind of white space. It just looked like I ran out of ideas. So I was thinking, I got to come up with something. I got to put another idea in there. I'll put a novel idea in there. I'll put in someplace along the line, I read about a World War II submarine that ran aground in contemporary times. And usually I summarize my novels like movie tags.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote the USS Triggerfish arrived 50 years late in the wrong ocean and without its crew, but it did not come back alone. And then I did just a line or two of description and sent it off. And the acquisitions editor sent me, it was an email. Yeah, it sent me an email and said, I'm sorry, your proposal doesn't really meet what we're looking for right now, but this submarine thing you're talking about, is that still available? Yeah, it's still available. Well, can I see a proposal on that? Sure, I'll get you one right away. They said, great, I'm looking forward to that. That was the end of it. I spent 2 nights laying in my bed looking at the ceiling, going,
Oh, no.
How do I get a World War II submarine into contemporary times in the wrong ocean without a crew?
Oh,
And what in the world does it
goodness.
mean it did not come back alone?
That's exactly how it goes. I do screenwriting, and I can tell you the idea that you think the least about is the one that they're the most interested in. A colleague of my wife does independent film and teaches, and one of her colleagues had said that he came in and it was his first pitch, and he didn't know you should have more than one idea. So he just practiced his one idea, and they said, okay, yeah, what else you got? And he just drew a blank and said, I love it. He goes, kids, but they have jobs. And that's what they went with.
Oh, wow.
Kids have jobs.
I was at a writers conference and I was there teaching, and I was walking by and there was an acquisitions editor. Cafeteria had been cleaned out. She was sitting there doing some work and stuff. And she goes, I want to do an Allegansky book. What do you have for me? Pitch me something. I wasn't there pitching. I always teach my students to always be ready to pitch. Be ready to give your idea in 60 seconds or less, but be ready to talk for 2 hours. And so I sat down and I had jotted something down. I don't remember. Oh, it's the one that became Wounds, the kind of gritty police procedural one. And I think that's the one I did for her. And I pitched it. I pitched it badly, but she bought it. And I ended up doing, well, the Zondergroen, I did something like 5 books or something with them. I forget how many now, but so that worked out. You never know.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had six different. I just kept getting feedback, and they kept changing it, and it was nowhere near where they started. And then, they just gave me nothing to work with, and you're trying, and it's at the end of it, you're like, oh, they went with something that was completely different than anything that they had asked for. And I'm trying to think about COVID and SAG right now, and trying to shoot in as few as locations, and production. They said our budget's $800,000 to $1 million, and all these things, and they're just like, well, it's kind of boring because it just takes place in a couple of locations. I said, that's because that's what you asked me to do. Never mind.
Don't tell me what I asked. Tell me what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one reason I don't write screenplays. I did one because they bought the producers bought it was an up and coming thing. They bought one of my books ideas, and they paid me to do the first draft, which simply means it's something they could use to sell, and then somebody else would write the real screenplay. But screenplay writing is being creative by committee, and Al doesn't play that well with others. So.
I hear you on that for sure.
Yeah, I once read a book on screenwriting. I was very, very interested in doing it. So I read this book on it, and the book was brutally honest, basically saying, especially starting out, the odds of you being the actual screenwriter getting credit on the film is very little. You would pitch the idea, they might just buy the idea and have someone else write it. Best case scenario, you might be one of the writers, that sort of thing. So it was very discouraging. So I never pursued it. So
I had a screenplay for Jurassic Park. That thing was rewritten 3 or 4 times. First, Michael Crichton wrote it, and they decided he wasn't a good enough writer. So
wow.
They went with several other people, and finally, I don't think his name appears on the screenplay.
I just story by.
My favorite story about that is David Duchovny was. Where was he? Oh, he was on some talk show at night, and he was in the green room, and Stephen King was in the green room. So David Duchovny says, you would write a great X-Files. You ought to write a teleplay for the X-Files. And he said, I'll do it. He said, I'll talk to Chris Carter. So Chris Carter says, yeah, I'd love to have something for him. So Stephen King writes this television script, sends it to Chris Carter. Chris Carter sends it back. He rejects it because it wasn't scary enough. and so Stephen King's a professional, so he rewrote it, sent it back, and Chris Carter rejected it again. Stephen King rewrote it again, and Chris Carter rewrote Stephen King. And I thought, there's just, you don't have a chance.
Wow.
To Chris Carter's defense, Maximum Overdrive, that was the one that Stephen King directed, I believe, too, and wrote. And boy, that's
that turned out not to be a strong suit.
The trailer too is the best part. It's like, now you're gonna see what a real Stephen King movie is like, and it's awful, you know, so, like they all are.
Oh.
I think we're talking about typewriters. I'm sorry, but we're talking about writing too.
No, it's one and the same essentially. Oh, we have Joe back.
There's Joe.
Yeah. So I never did write any even close to a screenplay. I didn't get beyond that book. So yeah, very discouraging. Yeah. So Alton, how much traveling have you done with typewriters?
Sorry, it's such a busy morning. I'm just now getting a bite of bagel.
Oh, that's okay. I caught you out of bedtime.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether to tell you or not because I don't want to get kicked out. I enjoy you guys. I've never traveled with a typewriter.
Okay.
No, and being a professional writer, I don't usually type on a typewriter because sooner or later it's going to have to be sent over the internet.
Exactly.
So I say I sometimes start with ideas on the typewriter.
Okay.
And I'll pound out maybe a part of a scene or something like that. And that really gets the juices flowing.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed that. So I sometimes keep a typewriter around, just put the paper in and just start typing. And I made a discovery about the Smith Corona 5TE that I keep meaning to do a video on, but I haven't done a video for quite a while. But it's the perfect writer's typewriter. I can tell you why in a minute if you want, but I don't usually travel with them.
Okay.
Tell us, Alton. Tell us. I'd like to hear.
Oh, the special thing about the 5TE?
Yeah.
Well, this is your fault, Joe.
I know.
And I blame you for this. Minding my own business, doing what I usually do, watching a Joe Van Cleave video.
Right.
You know, as you do. And you did your 5TE thing. And I said, I don't collect electric typewriters. I just don't do that. But you still had to return the carriage by hand. The backspace is still manual, and so then I saw one advertised, and I bought it for $10, and it was working.
Wow!
And I thought, well, I can't walk away from this, so I bought it.
Exactly.
And then that's when I noticed. If you look down at your keyboard, over by the Enter key, the quotation mark and the apostrophe key is there. That's not true on typewriters, except the Smith Corona 5TE.
Huh.
And I have never been able to find out why. And I'm hoping Ted Monk can square me away on this thing, because I went through and I looked at every other Smith Corona after that I have. And I checked the keyboard, and they all go back to they all go back to the regular QWERTY style that you see with the typewriter, without having that quotation mark at the little finger, which a writer needs, especially somebody who writes novels.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to do that whole shift thing, stuff like that. The
dialogue
it's
has
really annoying to do that.
Right? Yeah, people speaking, right? They have contractions, right, in their speech. I thought the Galaxy 12 has that in that position.
I looked at mine. I didn't see it. I could be wrong. It's happened twice before that I was wrong, so it could be.
You might find that the coronets also have that layout. Most
Do
of
they?
the electric ones, I believe, all have that layout. But yeah, you're right. The 5T was the first.
I wonder why they didn't make more manual typewriters with that layout, because it's always been a better writing layout, I think. And it may have to do with tradition. It may have to do with typing classes and typing instructional booklets were always written with, the quote mark or the apostrophe as a shifted E, and the quote mark it may be somewhere else above the one or whatever. And that's probably what it was, just tradition, right?
And I believe that key on the regular typewriter is the cent sign.
Cent at, yeah.
Yeah, cent and at. I was going to say
which is pretty useless to me.
The last time
right?
you typed a cent.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Herbert Selby Jr.? He wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And on his typewriter, he was missing something. He was missing some slugs or something. So instead of an apostrophe, he couldn't, for some reason, his apostrophe did not work. So he used a backslash or a forward slash. And that's still, when you read the book, it's still a forward slash.
Wow.
How long ago was this?
This would have been in the 50s. Yeah. So he was around with the beats. He had tuberculosis.
Okay, so what he's
go ahead.
So what he's thinking is he's working on a typewriter. They're going to have to reset it, so they would just replace the slash with an apostrophe.
Right. So there you go.
And they didn't, huh?
Yeah. From my knowledge, if you pick up his book, it's still the same way.
Wow.
So he hated writing he said, she said.
Yeah.
So each character
Attributions
gave their own dialogue, and you had to figure out yourself who was speaking.
Oh
and
boy.
after a while, you could, because each person's dialogue was so original.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I teach students when I'm at writers' conferences and stuff. You use dialogue tags or attributions is what they're called, as sparingly as possible.
Yeah.
First of all, they don't even make sense. Because when you put a quotation mark around them, said Bob, well, that's what the quotation mark says. So it's a verbal statement. We don't need the said. It's redundant. It's cluttered. Or my favorite is people put a question mark, close quote, he asked. Well, I've already got the question mark. I had it figured out. But sometimes when you have three or more people, it's very difficult to not have some attribution. So I would teach use a beat. Right. He listened to the question, ran his fingers through his hair, period, and then you put the dialogue. Because you already know who it is because he's the subject of that paragraph. So
yes.
But you have to use it some. So.
It is annoying to come up with different ways, and that's kind of like like you said, the late night writing school, the night class writing school, the adverbs and,
Well, I think there's one other factor. In the old days, you got paid by the word. He said is, 2 extra cents.
Yeah.
And so,
exactly.
So when I train writers or I'm having to rewrite somebody, I tell them, they'll say, my favorite author is Fitzgerald. And I say, well, Fitzgerald's dead and he wrote in the 20s. Everything was different then. Don't try to be him.
Yeah. It was like Harlan Ellison was doing the penny a word thing, the pulp stuff. And it was Bukowski was as well, was he not?
I think many of them did.
Yeah.
Harlan Ellison, big Olympia fan. He said, sneaky the typewriter line in here.
Yeah.
He collected
so
Olympias.
I like William Gibson, the sci-fi author. He writes very brief, very condensed and efficient sentences, right? It's really wonderful to read.
Yeah.
Ernest Hemingway.
Oh yeah.
I saw years and years ago. I can't remember all of it, but they were doing they used to do these sports videos, but for humor, and so they did the narration as different writers would write. And the Hemingway one was he faded back. Period. He faded back. He threw the ball. The receiver caught the ball. He caught the ball and he ran. He caught the ball and he ran fast. He caught the ball and he ran fast and he ran long. Pretty clever.
Wow. Wow. Very good. Well, we're just about at the 2.5 hour mark. So I think we're going to wrap up unless anyone has something else they want to cover real quick. And I see Joe's already having his breakfast. So
yeah, the only thing I have is my wife. I went in the other room to grab some more coffee, and she has found something very interesting that is very close that I look forward to sharing with you if I'm able to get it.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, if you want to grab that, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
in the future
and pick it up today if.
Oh,
if
okay, okay.
So she was hunting around and found something that.
Ah, okay, okay.
So you have one of those wives who's an enabler too, huh?
Yeah, I like to think she supports me as much.
Yeah.
We go to any antique shop. My wife will point out a typewriter if she thinks I've missed it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
then she says, "That's pretty. You ought to buy that." No, I don't. I want to buy another typewriter. Yeah, you really need to get that. And then talk me into it, and then I'll notice when I'm paying for it that she's picked up 5 Disney-related items. Like, oh,
Yep.
I see how this works. Yeah.
Well, it's nice talking with all you guys today. I really appreciate everybody's time and insight. And what a great show today, Greg. Good job.
Thank you. It's great having
Good
you
seeing
a
you,
part
David.
of it.
Nice seeing you guys.
Nice talking to you, Alton. It really was.
Well, I'll pop in when I can. A little tied up in the morning.
Gregory, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ted.
Bye, Ted.
Bye,
Bye,
Diane.
Bye. Yeah, now I get in at the end. Figures.
Guys, later.
Oh. Oh, Joe's still there. All right. Woo, there you go. Wow. So these are wonderful. I love it. So thank you so much for watching. We went all over the place in the discussion, which was a lot of fun. And that's what it's all about. It's about, camaraderie and just talking, and we try and steer it back to typewriters, but just wherever it leads, and we have a blast doing it. I know I do. So I hope you have a blast watching it. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.